What's going on, guys? Rich here, Sean here, and Bubbles here. In today's video, we're going to talk about the top 5 reasons why guys can't lose fat and keep it off for life. So it's going to be a good educational one for you guys today, and I'm excited to get into it. You want to lead it off first?
Sure. So we're each going to give 5. We'll see if there's any that overlap. The first one that I'm going to start with is something that we literally have an entire nutrition program for in our program, and that's the weekend warrior. So these are the guys that crush it Monday through Friday, and then as soon as the weekend comes, the diet also fails. And either you're very aware that this is happening, or you're able to kind of rationalize it and say, well, 5 good days versus 2 bad days, I'm still doing well. The problem is it's much easier to overeat than it is to be in a deficit. So a lot of guys get into this trap and really struggle to lose fat. Did you have that one on your list?
I did. So I actually ranked mine. Bubs give me hell here. I actually ranked mine between 1 to 5. I had that for number 3. And so I did number 3, and that's very true, like Sean said. In the summertime especially, I find guys have a hard time keeping their strict diet, and they typically do blow on the weekends. Sean covered it pretty well, so I don't have anything more to add to that, but I got number 3, or Sean might have it a little bit higher in his list. So let's get to the next one.
All right, so we had our first one out of the way. Both have the exact same thing. So now we're going to move on to number 2. Rich is going to start, and we'll see what he's got here.
Okay, so this is my number 1. So I rank mine between 1 to 5. The very first thing I have why guys can't lose fat and keep it off consistently is they have no idea how many calories they're actually consuming. So we tend to eat healthy, or we say we're going to eat healthy, but it's kind of a guess, right? When you're eating healthy, you actually don't know how many calories you're taking in. And usually we just have doing a bad job in terms of tracking calories. And like I think Sean touched upon it in the first point, we might do good Monday through Friday, but when the weekend comes, we have no idea how many calories we're eating. So it kind of goes hand in hand with the weekend one, but more specifically, a lot of guys just have no idea how many calories they're consuming, which is why they can't lose and keep the fat off. Did you have that as well?
I did not. I think that's legit. I think most people know how to lose weight. It's a matter of actually sticking to it. So I'll give you my next one. And for me, this might not be number 1 because Rich said in the intro, it's not just losing weight, it's keeping it off. So for my number 1, even though it's number 2 on our list here, I might say it's not having a maintenance plan. So people are so focused on the losing weight part, and studies show that almost everyone who has tried to lose weight has lost weight at some point in their lives. But the problem is almost everyone gains it back again. Okay, so I think a lot of guys need to focus on not just the weight loss portion of it, but how can I actually keep it off long term? And I think if you can focus on that and be able to succeed long term after your cut, you're much more likely to succeed, obviously. And I think a lot of guys just ignore that part.
All right, guys, so I'm going to kick it back over to Sean, and I did not have the maintenance one on my list for full disclosure, but I'll let Sean lead the way with his third point here.
So next one I have is too aggressive. So guys that want to lose too much weight really quick, and this is a common mistake that a lot of guys make. Like we were talking about before, a lot of guys lose weight, but they can't keep it off. And one of the telltale, or one of the clues that really leads to this is the faster you lose weight, the more likely you are to gain it back again. So I always like to ask myself, is this something I can see myself doing long term, especially nutrition wise? If the answer is no, it's probably too aggressive, and the chances of you actually being able to maintain that and keep it off are going to be super low. Not only that, but it does hurt your metabolism long term. So I think a lot of guys go way too aggressive, way too soon, and they end up reverting back to where they used to. Did you have that one?
I did not, but I was at the same lines as you, I think. I just had a little more specific. So the second thing I have, which definitely kind of speaks to what Sean is saying, is I think a lot of guys can't lose and keep the fat off is because they do an unsustainable diet. What Sean kind of said, right? I would kind of still quantify that. I'm going like 0 to 100. Because if you're trying to change everything at once, then it falls under that bucket. But maybe you guys have this in the past, like keto or carnivore or whatever diet is. Maybe you lose weight for a little bit and everything's going well, but you can't sustain it because you want to eat carbs, you actually want to enjoy your life. So I just think a lot of guys try to be way too extreme with their diet. Again, goes hand in hand with what Sean is saying, just a little more specific, but they just can't keep up with it, and that's the reason why they basically can't lose and keep the fat off for life. Okay, so the fourth, we have kind of 3 kind of like more tactical and practical things for you guys. Now the fourth one's a little more mindset. And this is the big thing I think guys can't really stick with, but you don't have a strong enough reason why you want to lose fat. Now, Sean can obviously relate to this. Like when a lot of guys come into our program, when we first ask them, like, why do you want to lose weight? Like, why do you want to lose fat? And at first it's a very surface level answer. It's like, I just want to lose weight. I want to feel good. I want to look good. That's not specific enough, guys. And if you don't have a deep reason why, when it's like minus 20 in January, at least that's where we are in Canada, it's not really motivating to go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, right? But if you have that deep reason why, whether it's like reverse prediabetes, whether it's to look, confident with your shirt off, the more specific and deeper of a reason you can have, that's going to help you lose and keep the fat off for many years and decades down the road. Did you have that one?
Very similar. I had that as my number 5, so I'll use that one now. Not the exact same, but what I wrote down is people relying on motivation over inspiration. So everything Rich was talking about there is inspiration, right? It's understanding why you're starting, why is this important to you? Because that way, every time you're feeling that you're just not feeling motivated anymore, you can kind of look back and remember why you started in the first place. Because the biggest mistake that people make psychologically is assuming that everyone who's in great shape is motivated all the time, which is BS. Because I can guarantee the longer you get into fitness and nutrition, the less motivated you're going to be. So motivation is something that strikes from time to time. It's transient, comes and goes. We say it all the time, but it's never going to be there. So if you're all the time. So if you're always relying on motivation, you're never going to succeed long term. So when you're not feeling motivated, go back to what Rich said, go back to that inspiration, remember why you started, and use that to keep you going long term.
Should we ask Bubs?
Bubs, motivated or inspired?
Big answer there. All right, guys, we got one more to go. I'm going to kick it off to Sean to start. So what do you got for your final one, buddy?
This is a boring one, but I would be remiss if I did not point it out. Originally, I was going to say something as simple as exercise because there are studies that show that people that actually lose weight and keep it off long term have a much higher correlation of success when they're exercising during that long-term fat loss. But I didn't want to say that because I'm assuming you guys hopefully are exercising anyway. So we're going to go something a little bit less basic, but still kind of basic, and that's prioritizing protein. So prioritizing protein, make sure that you're able to maintain the muscle that you do have during a fat loss phase, but also keeps you full much longer. It's going to make your life a lot easier. And there are just way stronger correlation studies that show that people who prioritize protein are able to lose weight and keep it off much better than those who don't. Did you have that one for your last one?
I did not. So mine's a little more, again, specific, I guess you could say. And the reason, it's just the fifth reason I had that guys can't lose and keep the fat off is not having non-negotiables. And when I say non-negotiables, it's about quantifying things, guys. Like, I think a lot of us, some of the times we just go into the program, like, I hope to work out 4 times a week, or I hope to this, or I hope to do that. If you don't have non-negotiables that you're following, I'll give you some examples in a few seconds here, you're just leaving everything to chance. So like Sean said, protein, great point. How much protein are you having every single day? How many workouts are you doing? How many calories are you doing? How many hours of sleep are you getting? You want to have those floor baselines for every single day and every single week, because if you have that, it's just going to make losing fat so much easier, and you have that game plan that you can follow without having to argue with yourself if you should work out that day or should eat 50 grams of protein for that day. Any other comments for that one there?
No, I will say what Rich said is important, and he did mention sleep, which is super important. Got someone that can demonstrate that perfect for you right now. Passed out, KO'd. If you want to lose fat, make sure you prioritize sleep as well.
Thanks, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to let us know if you agree with R5 and like and subscribe. And we always appreciate you guys watching to the end. So thanks again for watching, guys.